I see us on Facebook.
We are working out some kinks.
All right. We're live on both?
All right.
We are live. Hello.
Welcome, everybody. The Studio R12 Stencils coming to you every week on Tuesday to share with you all the fancy techniques that we can teach you to show you how to make your projects go like even more polished, more finished, more fun. But some of these techniques are super easy. Today we're going to show you how to drop shadow, and I'm going to show you why you need to know about that.
Well, and I put it in the description of this today that, like, have you ever tried to drop shadow with just free-handed? Like, hi, my name is Kari, this is Patty.
Oh,
but
I'm not Kari.
That's not Kari. I'm Kari, and I can't drop shadow free-handed.
You can.
I can't.
Okay, cannot. Okay.
I don't have a reason to try because I use stencils.
Right.
But
stencils make it so easy.
But that's what we're talking about today, is because it can be so tough. And I've watched you do it and you're a pro at it. But
so if you use a round brush to do your drop shadow, then you have to have a steady hand. You have to know how to run a round brush. You have to know how to load your paint, how to thin your paint, how to get the right balance of paints. There's a lot of like intrinsic little skill sets that you need to have. So rather than going down that giant rabbit hole, instead we're going to show you how to cheat and use your stencil to make the drop shadow happen. And then I'm going to show you some examples. I think we have housekeeping that Kari's going to do.
Housekeeping, thank you, yes. So, fun news, we are streaming live today on Facebook and on YouTube, which is super exciting. That you can catch us at either place every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. I shared on our Facebook page the other day how you can set up your notifications so that you can be notified when we go live. I know that last week a couple people told us that YouTube notified them first. So regardless of where you're watching us, make sure you either turn on notifications on Facebook or ring the bell on YouTube after you've subscribed, and then you'll be notified.
And can I add one more thing? I'm allowed?
You're allowed.
Yay! When you're on YouTube or even on Facebook, if you can give us some love, or hearts on Facebook or thumbs up and things like that. Shares, and like that kind of stuff. We're going to have drawings today. But the algorithms on these things, like we're a small company, like we have a lot of titles, but we're still a very small company. And all of that love and the likes and the thumbs up and stuff like that helps so much for the algorithms and the things like that. I learned that word last week.
Algorithm.
Algorithm. That's 4 syllables. That's pretty good.
Big word.
Big words.
So also, can you see something super cool on my computer? So we have some new stickers. So keep your eye out for those. We're gonna. We did a promo last week, and I think 50 people were able to win stickers, and we're going to send those out.
Just FYI, on the 50 people that got the free sticker, we're packaging up a little surprise in there as well. So you're not just getting a free sticker.
Absolutely.
So you want to pay attention to the notifications on Facebook and that kind of stuff, because we're crazy. Like we do crazy things. Like we give away stuff, and we love to just like embrace our stencil fans and just being like, here's you a hug in the mail, that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, and Ted, Patty's husband, came in the other day and he's like, you're giving so much stuff away. Sorry, Ted. Sorry. But
thank goodness he's not on YouTube.
Yes, thank goodness. We do have some giveaways for you today. To be honest, I don't know what they are. I just picked up some random things that were bagged up. So there's like sets of stencils. Love it. So we do want to remind you, last week, this is what was released.
Such a cute project.
We released this on YouTube. Patty did this one. It's the bunny crossing with the drop shadow.
Yeah.
And the...
So see what the drop shadow does. If you just had pink letters right here, the lettering is so light on the background that it would get lost. So the drop shadow anchors that lettering, and it really makes it completes it.
Well, and when we were doing the test run of this, what we were going to do, we painted it, and Patty and I looked at it, and like, what if we had a drop shadow? And it finished it. It totally changed the look of it.
It made it so amazing.
And then we added a tea towel stripe to it, which is something that we've been talking about like crazy since we got back from market.
Biggest trend at market was all the tea towel stripes. You guys, just amazing. And honestly, I've got an example over here of drop shadowed striping, which is interesting. You don't even think about drop
No.
shadowing striping,
No.
so that's so cool.
And then this week, we're going to give you a sneak peek. I am
Ready.
painting this project, and this week we are focusing on tools that you can use when you're painting in really teeny tiny places. So
Yeah, when you have all of these things connected like this, you've got to have some control
Yeah.
and some options. And so Kari's going to show you all those tricks.
Yep.
That's what I think I love about our videos the best, is that we show you the tricks that you need to know.
I agree. And I mean,
They don't hold anything back either. You get the whole tamale.
The good, the bad, the ugly, the ooh, I should fix that.
Yes. Although I used my filter last week, so I just want to get congratulations.
Yes,
Give me some hearts for using my filter last week.
So don't expect it today.
No,
she's
no.
all out of
She
filter.
said I'm done. I want to know what's in your tumbler though. So I am double fisting today. This one has wine. Cheers.
Cheers. And our spring cups, I don't know if you guys have noticed, back at Christmas we had red and green cups, and now we have spring color cups.
So I have hot tea in this one, and I have red wine in this one, and I feel like for 30 degrees, it's probably the perfect combo.
I'm just drinking wine to warm up. Okay, so
All right.
I think our
Giveaways?
housekeeping is good. Yeah, I will do a giveaway. I'm going to give away 2 things right now. One is, this looks like a Halloween bundle.
Do you know what?
And-
I want to say this out loud. I was looking at we're on all the channels. StudioR12.com is our website, but we are on Etsy and we are on Amazon. We're on different places. And when I was looking at our Amazon, they visually give you like what people have been ordering. I went like 12 orders in, and everything was fall.
Yeah,
So people
already.
are already buying fall. It's never too early to paint for the next season. So keep that in mind, because if you want to decorate your porch or you want to decorate your house, if you start thinking about it in August, you might lose steam. So if you start thinking about that stuff now, then you can get ahead of the game, so to speak.
Well, and now's, we're all stuck inside. Like, it's so cold. It's so cold. So now's a really good time to be painting, even if you're not in spooky mode.
Yeah.
You're,
Oh, and I have a really good example of drop shadowing on a Halloween project right here. Okay, so if we're in spooky mode, so you could paint, keep this in mind. Am I on this camera still, Steve?
Yes.
Okay, keep this in mind that if you're not painting this sign, but you won a stencil set, when you go and watch the videos, you can adopt these colors to a different set of signs, different shapes, different all that stuff. So if you fall in love with a color scheme, borrow it. And that works for all the things. But if you look right here, and Rusty, I don't know if you can get in, this has got the black drop shadow, and that just really, this is so heavy right here, that black drop shadow on those lettering really make it complete. So that is a really good use for drop shadowing, is when you have a really heavy weighted one word, you need to add something to the other words to make them even show up.
Okay, so the winner of our Halloween stencil set is going to be Jarita Pixley. So Jarita,
Congratulations,
We'll message you, and Jarita is joining us on Facebook.
Thank you for joining
from
us.
YouTube, Kelly Wingard was our first person on joining us today. So Kelly, you are going to get a kind of like a farmhouse theme. There's a farmhouse stencil.
And there is a buffalo plaid.
Buffalo
stencil.
plaid, a
Number
farmer's
one.
market.
Number
So,
one seller.
super fun stuff on here. So Kelly, I will put our email address on our YouTube comments, and you can send me an email, and we'll get your address, and then Jarita, we will message you.
This got complicated. If you guys want to give Kari some love, okay? And then last week, we had some dropping out and some freezing and things like that, some technical issues, and we have been trying to discover what it was. And so last week, we upgraded our entire internet, everything to the best that we don't even have, what's the cable stuff called? The underground, whatever that high-tech cable is for internet. I don't have that here, but we upgraded to the biggest package that we could, so that we could see if we could solve the stills and stuff like that. So
So hopefully that helps.
yeah, you guys let us know if you feel like the quality is faster, better, not falling out, doing all that. But give Kari some loves for taking on
Thank you.
like all the hearts, because she really does all the background stuff and really carries the load. So yeah. deserve the love.
Thanks a lot. I'm blushing. Yeah. I'm going to take a drink.
I'm going to take a drink. Is there enough wine to do this job? I don't know.
Okay, I think we're good.
Okay.
I think we're ready to
go?
Let's talk.
Who's excited?
Yes. So Patty had mentioned about the video. Guys, we have something super exciting on our YouTube channel. Everything that we're talking about today is in a playlist. So we have a drop shadow playlist. I'm going to share the link, but you can, once you get in there, see every single project that we have on our YouTube that has drop shadow. And then we have chapters on our YouTube that tell you exactly what we're doing at what time. And you can go through, you can see where it says drop shadow.
If you're not a YouTube user, I am technologically less advanced than most of the people I am around. So I had to learn some of this stuff. So if you're not that person, you click the little description thing and it will drop down on YouTube, and then there will be a playlist timestamp. And that's what Kari goes in and watches every single one of the videos after we get done. And then she puts at minute 20:33, we're talking about drop shadow. And so you can go you can drag that little bar across underneath the video screen, and you can drag it to 20:33, and then you can go see exactly the part of the video you want to see. So it is there for your viewing pleasure. We do it as a service to you. It's best practice anyway, but it's just a really good thing. So shall we talk about drop shadow?
Let's talk about drop shadow.
I hope you guys are excited about today's lesson, because drop shadowing with a stencil is amazing. Okay, so I want to show you some examples. These are all in that playlist that Kari was talking about. And so this is a coffee project. It's a little coffee cup wood, and that's sweet. These are available on our website too. We have all surfaces. So if you're ever stuck for surfaces, we carry all of that on the website, studior12.com. And but see what the black drop shadow does, even on these swirls. And that's all done with a stencil. And here it is in a bigger size. Okay, so that's a bigger size, and you can see you can make your drop shadow super skinny, or when you have bigger letters, you can do it wider. So that's really cool. And then this video is so cool. This is from I'm going to butcher her name. This is Gertie's project from from overseas, and her name is spelled with a lot of letters I don't normally put together, and so it's terrible. You should not keep doing that.
No.
We went to market, and we went to a market vendor who was the right nationality, and we were like, can you please help us say this name? We just try so hard and we can't do it.
We just can't.
Anyway, she did this, and this has got sawdust mixed in with the paint, which is just the coolest technique, and it looks really good drop shadowed. Okay, and then this little guy right here, this little guy went to market. So this is, and what I want to get you guys to see too, this is drop shadowed with black. This is drop shadowed only on these letters, but it's drop shadowed with white. We are working on another project that is drop shadowed with teal. You can do all the colors, and I think that's what the beauty of our playlist is that you can see examples of how to use drop shadow in different colors. So, and like when you would use them. So just pay attention to like, oh, they did that with white, or oh, they did that with pink, or whatever the things are. So that's a really good lesson too.
Jarita said that coffee cup is sick, and that means amazing.
Jarita, thank you for giving me
Jarita, I got you.
I can even use that one. I think Ted has actually maybe even used that one. Sick.
Yeah, you gotta kind of say it that way though. Yeah. It's not like this is sick. It's like this is sick.
So fun.
Thank you, Jarita. You just made my day.
I know, right? Okay, now this is the example of a bar that has been drop shadowed. Okay, so now look here. I've drop shadowed these letters with black, but I drop shadowed these letters with the yellow. So this black and yellow, I just can't even not do that. We're like 3 hours from Pittsburgh, so we get a lot of that influence around here. Anyway, but this is, in these videos, we do all of these backgrounds and show you all the techniques that pull the whole project together. So if you want the drop shadow, you can just go get that. If you want to know about this wax resist background, you can go get that. And then you can just dive into like the whole world of all the tips and tricks for doing stenciling. Okay, so that's that one, and then we're gonna get into today's. Let me get these out of the way. So humble and kind has been one of our most popular stencil sayings for a long time, and this was the Dirty Cowboy, right? I think this is, yeah, so this is the Dirty Cowboy. In this video, we show you how to use wood ash to distress your project, and I think this video is 1.5 years old, something like that, might even be 2. I'm dating everything from 2020 and 2021
I think that was right
at the bridge
beginning. So it was like last January, February.
Okay, yeah. So it's been a good long time, but I've had some questions about the ash having acid or any of that kind of stuff to eat through the paint and do any of that stuff. And interestingly enough, nothing. This is just the same project that is. We put these in on racks, and we just pull them out when we need examples of stuff. And so this has not changed one bit. It is alive and well and doing awesome. So the wood ash does not do that. So while we have fireplaces going, grab a baggie of cool ash and just put wood ash on it and put it in your supplies, because we're going to pull this trick back out, and you're going to be like, Patty, please sell me some wood ash. And I'm going to be
We've
like,
talked about it. We've talked about
bagging it up.
Bagging
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah, and interesting, I'm going to pull this out. This is the Memory Keepers sawdust, and this is the Spin-It. I think these are for the tumblers, to make these tumblers into textures and things like that. But they actually sell wood that you can put in your projects, and so I thought that was cool. I do not think at this point they sell ash. So, all right, so we have this drop shadow, and we chose this because it's a little bit tricky. It's a round stencil, and so that makes, if you've got a square stencil, you can use your board edge to make the drop shadow be perfect, and it gives you just kind of like a line and a rule. And so this way, I'm going to show you like the hardest way to do it, but it's still the easiest way to do it. So I'm going to show you that. We just got a plain board. We're just going to do some plain basing. I would probably never do just a plain board. In our retail shop that we have, you can walk through the 198,000 examples that we have in there, and you can always pick out a Patty project, because it's always the ones with the cool back. I'm going to say cool because I'm just cool like that.
The sick backgrounds.
The sick backgrounds. But they're always the more distressed backgrounds, wax resist, all of that kind of stuff. I like a little movement in the background. So, okay, so we are going to start with a mixed color. So I'm going to do a mixed color on top. So I'm going to shake my paint. This is acrylic paint. These are honey bottles. There will be an affiliate link below. We don't carry these on our website. And the reason I'm mixing the colors is I think this is going to sit on top of this brown and be a little bit too blue, if that makes sense. So I'm going to mix it with the little gray just to tone it. I'm going to use the offset palette knife. And that should get us just into a more neutral blue, if that makes sense. I'm going to try not to say I'm filtering again. What the heck?
Good job.
I'll take some thumbs up for that filter.
Thumbs up for Patty's filter. I do have a couple. We had Deb asked how we store our stencils, so maybe we can jump into that later.
Okay.
Marie asked, when you seal over a white board, should I use a gray first because it turns my background yellow even though I use a clear stain? So she's saying when she's staining.
Okay. What kind
when
of wood?
she's sealing. Marie on YouTube, let us know what kind of wood you're using.
Yeah. Sometimes the different woods are all really different. So if you need a controlling step, if you have something in your background that is turning a color or whatever, then try sealing first. But now if you're staining, you need that stain to seep into the wood. And so that's a different beast in a way. So, but if you're basing white and it's picking up something in your background, then you could give it a coat and then give it a second coat, and sometimes even a third coat.
Yeah. Hey, Steve, are you able to run over here real quick? Yeah, can you just run over here, and whatever camera you have popped up, can you just jump in front of it real fast?
I'm gonna.
He's coming. Someone asked recently if they could see our background people, but your son's watching. Your mother-in-law just posted that Emmett jumped on to watch before his nap.
Oh my God.
And said hi, Dad.
You
So
guys-
hopefully he got to see
Cutest
that.
little baby. Oh my gosh. So cute.
So fun.
Okay, so
Thank you, Paula. That was great.
all right, so we're going to pick up a little bit of paint on our dry brush and we are going to wipe, the new offload. This is the new normal, right? I've got to remember to do this because I'm trained this other way, is to do just a little strip instead of doing a big old swirly swirl, because it seems like it saves space on your paper towel and you can kind of pick up on your paper towel as well, so you can load your brush. Kind of cool. All right, now I have taken some shortcuts with the drop shadow. The way we used to do it is we would base the entire thing like solidly, and then we'd move our stencil and get ready to drop shadow, and then we'd move it back and have to go back over. So I've taken some shortcuts. So this is drop shadow 3.0. Okay,
Yes.
so this is an improved thing and it's sick. Okay, so here we go. So we're gonna do the top of our letters, and maybe I'll just do this whole one side. And then I'm gonna go over here and do the top. And then I wanna be careful of my detail over here. And then I'll come down here and do the same thing. I'm doing this without a net, but I should probably show those of you who feel like they need a net. I'm going to use some tape, and when you tape, and I'm not going to show you the wiggle right here, I'll show it on the next step because I don't want to undo this and reline it up. But when you tape, you always tape in two places. Okay, so I'm going to go up there and go up there.
Okay, so we're going to follow up from Marie. So Marie is painting on a pine surface. She's using a white paint and then sealing over top of it.
Before she sealing at the end of her project?
No stain. Yeah, sealing at the end. So
Okay.
she said clear stain, so a clear sealant.
Sealer. Okay. Yeah, I think that pine would be something that, especially if your paint was sheer, you could get some yellow color because pine is just so yellow by itself. That's a case when I would seal my wood first. So I would seal with a multi-purpose sealer, I think.
I think it's down.
Yeah, I think that's matte varnish for the top. The matte varnish, yeah, this is a great product, you guys. This is multi-purpose sealer, and this is Deco Art, and I have used this, I can't tell you for how many years, probably 20 years. It is fabulous for things that are going to go outside. It protects your wood. It also seals things under so it can't bleed up through. It will not do your knots. So the knots still need the bullseye shellac. Okay, so you want that shellac first, then sealer, then base if you have knots. So if you're doing pine boards, you probably have knots. All pine has knots. So this is a phenomenal product. And that is what we use for these boards. I can see the knots, but they're not bleeding through. So that is what that is for, so that you don't get that yellow and brown color coming through. So I'm going to continue over here. So hopefully that answers her question. And I'll do this edge as well. So what I'm doing is I'm just dusting to be able to tell where my art will go. Now I'm in a circle, so that means that it's a little bit weird as far as like that shape. Normally my stencils line up with my board. Most of you at home are not going to have stencils that line up with your board because like I have, a board machine, not really a board machine, but like it cuts things into the sizes I want, and they tend to correspond with the corresponding board size. So stencils and boards are the same. So you're probably going to have, pine boards or barnwood or reused boards or, whatever lumber you're finding to do the things. Actually, I would be very curious about that. Like, what are you painting on?
Yeah.
I'm using MDF right now. We also have Baltic birch. I use the pine boards. We go to the hardware store and have those cut for us. And, and that kind of thing. So I'm curious about what you guys are painting on. And then I'm going to talk while you guys are typing your answers. Okay, so that's what we have. And then I'm going to make sure that's dry. And then I tend to do my drop shadows on the left lower So I'm gonna slide my stencil over to the left, and then I'm gonna drop it down about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so this is the technical part, and you want it even. I'm like really enunciating that because it's really, really, really important. How many reallys?
Really?
Really important. Okay, so I think I've got that about right, so I'll stick that down. I'm gonna get this little gnarl of tape right over here. Okay, and then we're going to put this in water just because if that paint dries in that brush, then you're gonna be sad and you're gonna wreck a brush and you're gonna be not happy with me. Okay, so we'll get some black paint. And we'll do our little offload with our little stripe there. Abigail. Such a great technique. Okay, so now we're gonna go here. I'm gonna get out a masker. These are the multi-maskers. This is so that when you're getting close to another area of your stencil that you don't want that color on, that you can just mask off that area, and that is gonna protect the stencil from mistakes and errors. Now, especially with the drop shadow, if I've slid it out of place, this circle isn't gonna be in the right place. So even though, like, I'm not drop shadowing the circle, so I will have something in the place that I don't want it in. So you gotta be careful of that. Keep everything kind of contained.
Okay, so Glennis says that she is mostly painting on MDF and pine.
Okay,
Darlia says wood and canvas.
nice.
Carol says real wood, not MDF. I paint on whatever I can get my hands on.
Yeah,
She
same.
said she mostly makes leaners and home decor.
Nice.
Pat says she mostly wood. I've gotten at conventions and some MDF. Okay, so Glenda says, I prepped my pine board as suggested. Shellac, sealer, white paint ×2, sealed again with multi-purpose sealer, and I still got knot bleed through. What can I do to hide the knots?
So if you're still getting the knot bleed through, number one, make sure, it's gonna sound like a silly thing, but make sure that your product is thoroughly stirred. Those containers can be, like, they're so big, like it's a lot of product in there. So the product, a lot of times in all of these jars, you can see where we've got like a sink line. The goodies all start sinking to the bottom, and then when you spit out your paint and you haven't used it in a while, then it tends to be like all kind of oily looking. So the good stuff's down below, and so a lot of times you can just turn your bottles over. The cans don't work that way unless you really seal them down.
Yeah.
But I would get like a hyper stir going on that. But if you have something that has bled through, pretend like, you know, I can see that, but it's not a bleed through. It's just not, it's like a.
Well, and that's what Glenda, my question is has it bled through? Rusty, can I have you give Patty the Jolly? You can kind of see a little bit of bleed through on that.
Yeah.
My question for you, Glenda, is do you have bleed through like on this Jolly one that Patty has? Or is it that you can just still see the knot like on the Hello Spring that maybe another layer or two of white would have covered it? So let us know about that.
Yeah, if it were me and this was my board and I was, say, selling at craft shows or doing anything like that, had customers on, you know, that kind of thing. What you can do with this is you can stir up your product really good. Go again with your sealing product with the bullseye, and then let it dry completely, and then give it a little kind of just makeup application of white. Just give it a little rub of the white after you get that done, and then you can seal it and do that kind of thing. So that's what I would do if it were me, is I would just repeat the steps, tracing my steps backwards, making sure I did definitely stir. Don't use a skinny stir like this kind of thing. You want to use something that's got like almost like a paint stick, so that you're really able to grab volume when you're stirring around. Because if you're just doing this, it's almost like tickling. You know, you kind of want to be like, no, I want the paint to move.
Yeah, she said it was like that kind of bleed through.
Yeah. So, but that's what I would do if it were me. I'll hand that to you, Rusty.
Thank you, Rusty.
You're amazing. Okay, so I'm going to continue, and you can ask me more questions.
Let's see what else we've got.
So I'm doing whatever my drop shadow color is, and I'm using the multi-masker to mask off other things that are around it that I don't want done. And you do as many coats as you think you need. So if you think you need, 2 coats, do 2 coats. If you don't think that you need 2, just do 1. Okay, so, and I think that by not doing the entire thing with the blue, I've just saved myself time, paint, and this is me picking up some of my black from my napkin, which is a new technique for me. I mean, I guess I knew I could do it, but I didn't pay attention to it. But it's really a cool trick. And the multi-masker, on our website, the absolute best sellers are our brushes. These prevent the bleeding under that all of you struggle with. Everybody that has painted with stencils has experienced the bleed under. This stops that in its tracks as long as you use it dry. Don't use wet brushes. And then the multi-masker has moved into number 2 spot, and it is good for all the things masking. So you want to make sure that you are that you have both of those.
Carol asked about our Dirty Cowboy, about sealing it. We did not seal that one, but how would you recommend sealing?
I would spray. Always a spray. Whenever you have something sitting on top that you don't want to have lifted off, use your spray. Just a matte spray. The Krylon 1311, you need a can of that in your tool arsenal. You have to have that because if you're doing a chalk technique, if you're doing any kind of weird, something that will lift off, the 1311 will protect what you're doing, and it is a beautiful product. I've used it for years. Okay, so do 1 coat of this, and then we are going to show you how to put the top coat on. What are you guys eating for lunch today? We're B-dubbing.
I think
we're B-dubbing. BW3.
Steve's getting a burger.
So yeah, Steve always gets a burger. What's really funny is, so we don't have a lot of restaurants in our town. We have just a few. And so, we rotate the 5, besides the fast food. I guess B-dubs is kind of fast food too, but
Almost.
Yeah, it's an almost fast food. But it sure sounds good today. Tomorrow we're supposed to have super warm weather. Are you guys getting the same thing? Like, I think we're 60 something tomorrow. Today is 30. It's silly. 30 is silly. Okay, I'm going to move this now. So we'll do a reveal and you can see what we got. So you can see that made really that blue initial coat could be a drop shadow if you wanted it to be. So I'm gonna hit this with the blow dryer real quick because I think it might still be wet.
Okay, so
you guys are going to want to make sure to check out that drop shadow playlist on YouTube. If you're coming in from Facebook, just go over to Studio R12 on YouTube and make sure that you just subscribe and like and do
there's
all the
a
things.
tab that you can click on that says playlists. I've also shared it here. Kat asked, do you only paint 1 coat of the drop shadow?
It depends on your color. If I'm on a black background and I'm using white drop shadow, I might have to do 2 or 3 coats. Just do them really dry so that you don't have to do the drying time and all of that.
Right. So in that first layer she did, Kat, that blue layer is just kind of a guiding layer. So that one we only did 1.
Yeah.
And then
I just want a ghost on that.
And then we moved it to do our main
Yeah.
shadow, which she's doing right now.
Yeah. So now I'm going to line this up, and this is important that you get it lined up well. So what I look for is I look for any of my brown background showing around the things. And I love, this is such a little cheat technique kind of thing. I use my little pieces of tape to move my stencil around because when you're holding the stencil, you're like lifting it, and so you don't get as good a visual. But when I'm just using this as my handles, it works out really well. And then you put your eyeballs on, and then I look from one side to the other side. I move it around. I don't stick my tape down until I'm located. And I'm really bad at this step, so I really kind of get a little compulsive about it to make sure that I'm really, really on the mark. So I want to not be off. I don't like fixing things. So I don't like housework. I don't like fixing things. I don't like a filter.
I don't like when you ask people what they're having for lunch, because then I just have to sit here and look at it.
I know. Oh, are they sending pretty pictures?
Sue's having Spanish rice and sweet Italian sausage. Teresa's having pulled pork and coleslaw. Deb's having wings and fries. And we're just having wine.
I mean, poor us.
We're drinking our lunch.
Okay. All right, so now I go over all of the art. I'm using the swirl technique. If you're new to this technique, this is where I have, and you're going to lose a couple of hairs, but this is where you pick up a little bit of paint on your dry brush, wipe it off, and then you just very lightly, when I'm doing this, Rusty, I'll give you here. This looks like my brush got ran over by a car. I'm not sure what happened. It's actually split. I'm not pushing to make it bend and whoosh around. I'm doing it so it's just dusting, barely touching the surface. And then as I paint, then I put a little bit more pressure. Okay, so as I run out of paint.
Jarita recommended chalking around your tape when you do that first blue layer, so that you know
that's a neat idea.
To put your tape back.
Man, Jarita, give her a prize. She won a prize already.
She already won a prize.
Give her another prize.
Jarita, we'll throw something extra in with your prize.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I will try that the next time. So what she's saying, actually, let's talk about that right now. What she's saying is you take your little marking. This is a soapstone marker, and you can just do your little chalky line on here so you know where your mark is.
Jarita said, sick idea, huh?
Sick idea, Jarita.
Jarita, you are on it today. We love it.
She's the bomb diggity, man. Okay, so then you'll know when you lift that up, you'll know where to put it back down, and that is a great idea, because sometimes this can be like forest and trees.
Yeah.
Like you're like lost in the woods of painting the thing. Okay, and I'm not going to do the circle and all the things. I'm just going to do the letters that we drop shadow, because we're trying to be a little bit better with your time, so that we're not spending like your whole entire like 2-hour lunch or something. You know, who has a 2-hour lunch?
Who has a 2-hour lunch, except for us on Tuesdays.
Sometimes
we
that's true.
We have to decompress after these with lunch. Now, I will say that the way that Patty's doing this is the way that we typically do it, with the paint a little bit, move it over, paint your drop shadow, then move it back. Now, there are times when we're painting a whole stencil and there's just a really small portion that we are going to drop shadow. And what we've done with it is we have painted everything except the drop shadow portion. And then instead of painting that guide line, we use what we've already painted
as
a
good idea.
Guide.
That's a really good idea.
And then go down and over.
I hadn't thought of that.
I think you did that on.
It's
I have
potentially
to find it.
Possible, but I don't think I thought
On
it
the
through.
Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance.
The Pledge of Allegiance. Have another drink. I think we did that on the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll go back and watch it. But if you're painting other things, you can use that as your guide, and then not have to paint a guide.
Because you
already have it painted.
Yeah, because it only matters. So I literally could have done the always stay the circle and this. Okay, so this is why we do these things, and now you guys are learning along with us. Make sure you're sharing with people, because these are like hippie noodle moments.
Yeah, a couple people said, Darlia said that Jarita blew her hippie noodle.
Yeah, like super great techniques. And that's what I love about these like painting communities, is like your techniques become my techniques and we all just share together. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
But if I had done all of these elements first, then I could drop and over and not have to cover up any of the black and do that kind, or not, I guess I still have to cover up the black, but I don't have to do the blue step.
Right.
So, brilliant. Oh my God. Like, okay, wait, mic drop. I'm out.
Ooh, I get a prize.
Good job.
Thanks.
I would have to be smart today. All right, so keep going. Oh my goodness, that's such a great technique. And now I'm speechless.
Speechless. I'm trying to find where we did drop shadow in this. I'm not seeing it, but I swear we did it.
I remember it too.
What is it?
I remember it too. It was in
Yeah, it's possible I did it, but not intentionally.
Here we go. How to
you know
drop
what I mean?
shadow with stencils. Yeah, let me watch. I'm gonna share with you guys this link as well on the, and I'm gonna have to add it to our playlist because I did not even know we did that. Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah, I saw it over there, so that's one of our really good sellers for summertime. Okay, I think we are ready for our reveal.
Reveal.
Okay, so we're gonna take our tape, and then actually we'll test the tape technique as well. So I'm gonna do that. And what I love about this little 3-in-1 marker is that there's a gray lead, a white lead, and a roller ball. And it erases with spit. We're not allowed to use that. Water.
Not when you're sharing it with friends.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's a really good point. So then we take our alcohol and we go. Eventually, there we go. Hand sanitized. Anyway, but yeah, so you it can erase with spit. You can do the eraser, which lives on the back end of the pen.
Well, and I think we called it a triple threat before we realized
It's really
there
a
was
quadruple
we
threat.
realized there was an eraser on it.
It has 3 of these things, but it has a hidden. I never even knew this was here until years later. But most amazing tool. So, but you can see that we've got our black drop shadow, and you can see that just by sliding, ghosting. So I didn't do my protector, my little masker there. So let's show you what you do about ghosting. Can you see the little black line right there? So we're gonna go, Steve's over there.
Like, yes, I see that.
it. Okay, so because my paint is within like 5 minutes fresh, I can use the click eraser, and that's just like a little clicky PVC eraser. And I can just go right there with the wet eraser, and I can erase. I almost let it dry too long. I was talking.
Chatty patty.
Yeah. How many times have I heard that in my life?
I don't think I've ever said that.
Well, it's true.
It's true. Okay.
It's a good thing I do like to talk, because it's like my job description is talking, I swear. Okay, so let's test this tape placement. So we go up here, we see where the top and the bottom of the little tapey tape is.
Pull it in.
And whoops.
The whole project?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, pull it just closer to you.
Okay. Sorry. And we can rock and roll that to get that lined up. And look at how clever that is. So hippie noodle blown completely. We have 2 techniques to save you time and effort. Brilliant.
I have a couple of questions for you. Angelina says, I was at IKEA this weekend and saw some medium-sized round cork hot pads.
Yes.
I'm thinking like in laundry or the kitchen. How would I treat them either before or after painting? So how do you treat cork?
What I would do is I would use a spray sealer. That Krylon 1311 is going to be your best friend for almost everything that you ever want to spray seal. And that's, it literally is the numbers on the can. In Hobby Lobby or Michael's, when I did the Columbus run, they had the Krylon 1311 in the locked up case with the spray paints.
Okay.
And they were in that. They should have it at Lowe's, Home Depot, all the big box. Online, I think they have to send it ground because it's a spray, so you like better to get it in person if you don't live in the country like we do.
Right.
I have to travel to do all these things. So I'm using this PVC eraser. What's neat about this is when you use it dry on paint, it won't take paint off. When you use it wet on paint, it takes paint off. But it only does fresh paint, so you have about a 5-minute window that you can fix little errors if you have bleed under, any of that kind of stuff. You have a little bit, and this is the tool you want in your tool arsenal. And then we were going to talk about storage for stencils, right?
Yes, we were, but I
quick?
do have a quick announcement. So you guys, today we're talking about drop shadow and different things that you can drop shadow. Hopefully you guys are really inspired to drop shadow. So I am sharing
put your hand up in the chat if you guys are inspired to try this.
Yes, and so I'm going to share with you right now. It's a link called Drop Shadow Stencils. It's on our website. It's going to send you to a link with 74 stencils. All of those stencils are ones that most of them have examples of painted with drop shadow. They're word stencils that would look really good with drop shadow. And today only, that collection is buy one, get one free. So if you go on and add 2 stencils from that collection only that I'm getting ready to share, then the lower price stencil will automatically be free in the cart.
Yeah, good reason to stick around to the end because we're going to let you know what our special little deals are at the very end of the video. So, and it's usually going to be today only or within the 24-hour period. So that gives you time to act, but not very much time. Stencil storage, real quick. We use this disc binder system. This is the Punch. There will be an affiliate link in our description below. This is how you store stencils. So this makes a nice book out of these, and you wouldn't believe how easy this is to remove from the book. Just comes right out. These are the little pinhole looking things that are punched, and then to put it back in the book. I honestly couldn't be more pleased with the stencil storage system than this. I've needed a stencil storage system for a long time, and this is brilliant, and it's so durable. I cannot believe how well these things stick together. They make them, we make them into little books. These are tools for banding, and then we just put different colors on them to color code. And then we have like, you know, the bigger ones. This one's all of our word stencils. This is not all of our word stencils. This is all of our ones that we've used recently. And then if you can see on the back wall, other side. Ta-da! Okay, if you can see on the back wall, we have this curtain rod made out of wire, and then that can go underneath a shelf in your closet. And then these little, drop that on the floor, but the little clips clip right on there, and then you can hook them on there, and that's nice because you can organize them and put little dividers that show you where that's, so if you've got a closet, this would be brilliant. And then when you're doing, I wouldn't put this size in these books because I think they're too big, but you can just punch the other way. I'll get this so you can see it, Rusty. Just slide that puppy right on in there. Okay. I'm working from my wrong side. And then you just punch it. And now you are ready to add this to the book. So that just, you can punch everything that you get, and then if you want to keep them in a book or not, you can do clips on them and that kind of thing. So that's super easy for stencil storage.
I have shared all 3 of those on both of our lives. Angelina just wanted to confirm with you about the cork. She asked if it was before painting or after.
Before. So go ahead and just seal it down, and then when you put the paint on top, it will sit on top of that sealer and not allow the paint to soak into cork. I'm assuming that cork, because cork is so good like in a wine bottle or as an absorber under a coaster or something like that, I'm going to presume that, also filtering, I'm going to presume that you want to seal it to prevent your paint liquid from soaking into the cork and swelling it or doing any of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I would say before.
And then Teresa asked, is the eraser that's on the triple threat the same materials what's in the click eraser?
You know, it's such a really good question. It feels the same. Let me see if I can get it to, I don't know if I have fresh enough paint. So let's see if I can get, no spit. Gosh. Okay, let's see if we can make the blue erase. Ta-da! It is. Okay, so see what that did? It took that end of that line out. How cool is that? So that is, yes, you can use the triple threats eraser to do the erasing if you don't want to have a separate tool. That's so cool. I know we're learning all the things today from you guys. Can we come to your school from now on?
Please come back. We will announce the grand prize giveaway winners tomorrow. We will announce one of them on Facebook with a post. We will announce the other one in the comments section of this video on YouTube. So on Facebook, we are able to message you. On YouTube, we are not able to message you. So you will have to send us an email, and we'll make sure to put that email in our thing.
All right, see you next week.
Bye, guys. Have a great day.